Hey, everybody, Dr. Rob Silverman here, Proven Health Alternatives. I have ex-professional basketball player, my first patient in chiropractic school, Dave Lemanczyk.
Dr. Rob, great to be here. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too. It's been a long time. You've been on a real journey. I mean, I remember you as a college Division II superstar. You were a 6'4", legitimate 6'4" center. You were playing center at Division II. You went to the same school that Manute Bol went to, was whatever, 7'6".
Yes.
And I remember you like leading the league in rebounding at 6'4". I mean, Dennis Rodman got nothing on you.
Thanks, Dr. Rob. It was amazing. Yeah, Bruce gave me a scholarship and said, Lemanczyk, you're staying 15 feet and in. And I said, why? He said, when you jump like that, you're leading the league in rebounds. And I said so. That's why. And he was right. 2 years in a row, I led the league in rebounds. And the guy just had tremendous foresight and vision for success and knowing how to get it done.
Isn't it amazing how the right person, mentor, coach comes into your world and it makes that indelible mark? Hence the idea that you now are an instructor and a coach as well.
I think you're absolutely right. And you hit a major nail on the head. Think about the University of Bridgeport when I was lucky and fortunate enough to come across your path in 1997. And what I needed was rehabilitation and chiropractic knowledge. And you were right there at that exact moment. So not only do I have Bruce Webster, amazing basketball tactician, amazing human mentor, I also have Dr. Robert Silverman right there, simultaneously and concurrently helping me on my way. So thank you, Dr. Rob.
My pleasure. So, why don't we, talk a little bit about your back? I mean, so we reconnected. I actually saw you on Instagram, and here you are at 46 years old, right? Got a little older than you were at 21. When I first met you, 22. And you're not just dunking the basketball like a Dr. J dunk when he did it at 63, which was great. You're slamming it with veracity. And I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? I mean, he's got jets in those legs, but there's a backstory to it all. Why don't you tell everybody what happened to you?
And thanks a lot for that compliment. So I was just on a way to go to summer school as part of being a teacher here in New York. I'm an 18-year career teacher. I was stopped at a light. I got hit from behind, and it caused a series of injuries that would result in me getting a 3-level spinal fusion, as you're fully aware. Being a chiropractor, it was a both side fusion. So front and back, anterior, posterior, 3 levels, Harrington rods, plate spacers, screws, tough thing to get used to. It was a difficult prognosis. A lot of, you won't be doing this, you won't be doing that. And I understand why it's being said. In the back of my mind, I heard a lot of encouragement, a lot from previous mentors. I could hear my grandparents, my mama talking to me, just encouraging me. So what happened? So I ended up recovering from that 3-level fusion. I ended up going back to work sooner just because I was able to walk and move. I used the water a lot. I got into a shallow pool and did a lot of my early locomotion, any type of forward, backward, diagonal movement, any type of sliding. When I got to the point where I felt a little confident, slight striding, and then in all directions doing that, little jumps, flutter kicks, slight transverse motion, but everything in water. And I got to the point where I developed a lot of confidence in the instrumentation in water, and that helped me to sleep out of water. Sleep's important, right, Doc?
Yeah.
So that sleep and that water and that rehab and the time that I allowed myself to take with it, and also coupled with meditation and the detoxification off the opiates, which was a difficult time, however manageable, with discipline. And as I got through those difficult waters, I was rewarded with an unbelievable surprise where my body, the muscle memory kind of came back in waves, where all of a sudden I'm 205 pounds and I'm feeling like, wow, I remember when my body felt like this back in junior college. This is pretty cool, but I got some new stuff. I don't know what I could do. We'll see. I'm not going to try anything. 215 pounds, 225 pounds, 230 pounds strong. And I'm like, wait a minute. still compromised. I wonder if I can jump. So here's a true thing. When I know my leaping and my athleticism is getting to a really good point, I look at a 10-foot rim. It looks like it's 8 feet tall. I can't explain it. They all look low. As soon as I took that look at the rim, and this is sometime like 2 years, like a year and a half ago, I'm like, oh, it happened. I'm ready. So in a phys ed class, and I had a student like, you think you can? I'm like, yeah, let me have it. So I just took one dribble, went up, back scratcher, cocked it back, yammed it. Kids went wild, and I was like, wow, this is exciting. So now I have a lot of work to do. Went back to the drawing board, went back in water, ran the basketball strength program. Dr. Rob, I'm throwing it down really easy right now, reminiscent of 2001 professional basketball.
Right. You played a year overseas, as I recall.
Yeah, played a year in Europe for Nacional de Madeira. Amazing place, man. Had another year to play there. Could have played pro beach volleyball with them too. Wasn't into it. Had a chance to go to France and play there. Wasn't into it. I wanted to start a teaching career. And that's something like people like, why? And I'm like, well, for me, it was journey. I wanted to make it. You know, I'd early my mentors, right? I'd look at my papa, who was a professional baseball player, and I'm like, I always kind of wanted to achieve to that level. And while I didn't make Major League Baseball, I played professional basketball overseas. That was kind of like my accomplishment. But then when I got there, I was like, this is awesome, but I don't want this to be my life. I would like to help people in their life. So that's kind of like when I came back, and that was 24 years, 23 years ago. And for 18 years, it's been like a blessing just for me to get into different environments where I can help student athletes and also teach athletes skills so that they can shorten their time in training, increase their productivity, basically so they can reach their goals as quick as possible. And it's been really fun.
So you are a steel spine dunker. That's your thing. So
Yeah,
you went through your own epiphany, if you will.
right.
And now you're a coach, and you have like I notice a basketball fundamentals program, but it's also like a health program as well.
Yes,
So
you're
why don't
right.
you elaborate on that and tell everybody how that's implementable for them?
Great question. The one unifying principle we all share is the breath. Air is our primary resource. So what I teach everybody, especially as part of the program, is we have to master the breath. Now, the breath control method that one uses, whether it's one of the 7 forms of pranayama or whether you go with the Wim Hof breathing method, it's just a personal preference. Breath control, breathing exercises are number one. What that does is it allows us to get into a point of clarity where now we can take a look at things from a broader perspective. And it's in that perspective that when we start our movement, our training, everything has much more of an intention to reach our purpose. And what we're trying to do is track our progress little by little through using the breath, through doing the daily affirmations, right? I call it the PEP program. It's presently phrased, emotionally provoking, present tense personal statements. PEP program. And when we speak to ourselves with that PEP program, it becomes a habit. And sometimes we'll have coaches, we can have coaches that can be overly negative sometimes. And sometimes we can hear them in our mind. If we don't have that PEP program to keep talking to ourselves positively, then we can keep hearing those negative thoughts. So basically, breathing, a mindset, and then a way to take care of the body. Too often, there's a massive amount of focus on what to do in terms of exercise and applications and theories, when maybe we should be partitioning that and taking a really good look at how we can recover, how we can heal, what modalities can we use. And this is going to resonate with you, I hope. sleep and nutrition. They're two things that we have 100% control of. And if we put more of an effort into learning more about our individual needs of sleep and then matching the coding of our genetics with the foods that we take in, then what we do is we get closer to this holistic program that produces results that we can see based on vital stats, body temperature, blood pressure, oxygen per breath, heart rate, and all of it starts with the breath. So that's kind of what I do with the program is as I take it back to that fundamental that we all share, air.
So basically, you got yourself healthy first. And then after you got yourself healthy, which makes a lot of sense, that's sort of like what we adhere to here in the office and where I lecture all the docs, all the functional medicine, functional nutrition docs. We got to make the organism healthy. And then we have to be specific for what you want, whether it's tennis, whether it's basketball, whether it's pickleball, whatever. So you've got that system now. The question is, as a luminary in the field, what's next? So if I take a kid, I think you specialize in basketball. Am I correct?
You're correct.
So what's next? Here I have a 16-year-old and they can play, and I think they can play great because I'm their dad. And here they are, they're decent height, they're reasonably athletic. They're 6'2" and they can dunk a basketball on a good day. But I'm looking for a free ride to a D2 school. Help me out, Coach Lemanczyk.
So the first thing I'm saying is thank you for writing. I really appreciate you having the confidence in me to help your son. That's the first thing. The second thing I'm going to say is buy the basketball strength program, read it right away, and get in contact with me right after with any questions that you may have. The program takes time in order to run to fruition, and it's all these things. It's not just one thing. So when you take the individual skills, you work that, you take the fitness, you work that, the breathing, the sleep, the nutrition, the coping, and you put all those things together, it's a time investment. And in the time,
I'm not trying to interrupt you, but that's a book. That's a book that you wrote.
What's that?
You're talking the book that you mentioned. That's a book that you wrote. That's
It actually, yeah, Basketball Strength Volume 1.
Now you wrote some follow-up books, so make sure everybody knows that and tell them what's in that. And obviously they can go to your Instagram and all that because I saw you doing exercises like glute ham raises, interesting way without the actual machine, et cetera, et cetera. So just let them know because you kind of like glossed over the fact that was a book that you wrote.
You're absolutely right. So recanting and getting back to that, Dr. Rob, great point. Basketball Strength Volume 1, I put together as a comprehensive, literal resource for every basketball player on earth. I developed it after I came back from Europe. I realized after the professional basketball experience, witnessing the way European professionals play, and especially as they grow up in youth programs, learning and playing, it's not so much the competitiveness that impressed me. It was the cooperation, collaboration, and how everybody shared the understanding of strategy through position. And everyone knew everything about the skills and the rules of the game. So I took that, applied that, developed a program, and then I put together what I knew we needed. We needed to have a way that a coach could read something and know how to get to the mindset, the physical tools, and the spirit of a player. And that's it. That's Volume 1. Volume 2 became okay, well, I had a lot of really good coaches, and that's an understatement. They were 5-star, top-tier gentlemen. And what I did is I took the teachings that they gave me with the cardiovascular programming, with the power moves, the one-on-one individual technical basketball skills, and I put them all into format. So Volume 2 is a densely populated 234-page, very technical read for the coach that's looking to design programs for his team. From soup to nuts, everything is there. Volume 1 is something that needs to be read and done by everyone on earth that plays basketball. It literally prevents injuries, and it avoids so many of the pitfalls that people buy into because things seem like they're in vogue or popular, and really there's just a lot of risks that could be avoided. I'm sure you understand that with a lot of the silly nonsense that happens in training sometimes, and with supplements as well. So really we're just looking for a holistic approach, and Basketball Strength Volume 1 and 2 is literally the best I can do for comprehensive basketball training.
Outstanding. So give me some testimonials. Give me some case studies that you're real proud of.
So there's so many, man. Like, all right. So the one that I got recently is Garen Spengen, who I coached at Glen Cove High School. He was a super hardworking sophomore at the time. And what I did is I had the opportunity to coach him. I looked at him right away, and I told the coach, who thought it would be a better idea that he would be on my JV team than his varsity team. He's like, he can't play for me. He won't make it, so he'll be on your team. I looked at him. I'm like, you kidding? This kid's going to be a pro in 6 years. I need you to count that right now. He's like, how do you figure? I'm like, he's a pro. I'm telling you. He's like, you can have him. I'm like, really? Wow. So I had Garen for maybe 3.5 months. And in that time, he was like at pupil. He did everything that I asked him to do, and he worked hard and he rested well. His parents gave him tremendous support. What happened? Well, for me, he had a very successful year, and that was great. I ended up leaving and taking a job elsewhere, not coming back to district, but we kept in touch a little bit. He ended up being, by his senior year, his conference MVP. I think might average like 28 or 30 points a game. After that, because he went to college and played at Cortland. He was a Red Dragon, did a good job up there, and they were a very competitive team. And after that, he played pro in Egypt. And while he was playing pro in Egypt, he had an opportunity to play for the Armenian national team. So this is a young man who was told that he couldn't play on a varsity team. And the varsity coach, who will remain nameless, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but you know who you are, PF. That wasn't good. But I knew this kid had talent. And Dr. Rob, I will be darned if I let any talent go. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, yes, I have an opportunity to develop this kid. This is amazing. So he reached out to me and he thanked me. And he was very specific about how he thanked me and how I believed in him and how I encouraged him at a time where he really needed it, because he was starting to, get down on himself a little bit. And rightfully so, because he knew he had the talent to play at a higher level, and the higher level coach said he wasn't good enough. And he didn't want to be with me, not because I was his coach, but because it was down a level. Like, I got it, he got it. But his maturity in accepting that position and then putting in the time for his own player development made me realize that this kid is not only special, but he's going to change the way that I think about basketball training forever. And he did. Without his testimonial, just watching his development, I realized that player development, Dr. Rob, is the key to it all. It's not about points, rebounds, assists, and statistics, even though that's what we do. We quantify everything. We have the data. We know it has to exist. But at the end of the day, it's what type of character are you building? What type of person have you become? What type of memories and values can you instill and share? And when I got the feedback back from him, it was like a week and a half ago, about how thankful he was and how I helped him to turn it around emotionally and put himself together. And then just reading his list of accomplishments, man, brings a tear to my eye, because that is as good as it can possibly get when you have somebody who's literally looked past in his own environment and then thrives in the same environment, only to continue to create more environments. And now he's married, living on the West Coast, being awesome. So
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garen Spengen. What a guy.
So let's talk sports. I got a lot of people who follow sports here. Who's the best guy you ever played against?
Okay. Formal game or outside in the street?
Give me one of each.
All right. Formal game, I will say Tyrone Alimo, the Black Widow Evans, street ball legend. He was a
Okay.
guy who probably should have played the NBA, but he was just doing his thing in the Rucker. And, basketball heads, we know who Ali Mo is. It's the Black Widow. So rest in peace, Al. He was literally the best I've ever shared a court with. The best I've ever worked out with. Can I share a workout?
Yeah.
Wally Zerbiak, 100%.
Wow.
Unbelievably talented, Dr. Rob. Taller than he is listed as, more talented, quicker, work ethic, tremendous, super nice guy. I don't think people realize how hard he worked and how humble he actually was.
Well, I think Zerbiak may still be an announcer for the Nets.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
for the Knicks.
The
Yeah.
Knicks, he's a top 10 pick in a draft and played next to and with LeBron James.
And Kevin Garnett. Kevin
Wow.
Garnett was tough. But yeah, he played with LeBron towards the end. When I was working out with Wally, I'll tell you a few things about him. When we would do the Mikan drill, which is like named after George Mikan, who was a famous big man back in the day. Wally dunked every ball. And when I saw him do that, I was like, wait a minute. That's different. Because the only time I've usually seen things like that, Dr. Rob, is like 6'10, 6'11, 7-foot guy. And he did it with ease. And then when I watched him work and he's leading drills and I'm going through drills, a couple other guys working out with, also overseas pro doing it too. Everything's real simple. 2 dribbles or less, high energy, game moves only. This is what we're going to do. This is what we practice. And it was amazing. We get these workouts, high level cardiovascular workouts, and his fitness was always upper tier. Like that's what I remember about him. The way he warmed up was probably more intense than most people work out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, I have a friend, Chamberlain, Russell, Oscar Robertson, Jerry West. Okay. Bird Magic, Little Dr. J, Michael Jordan. And then I've got these new guys, Kobe, Shaq, LeBron James, of course, and Jabbar's out there. When I ask who's better, which basketball era was better? Fitness-wise, skill-wise. I know the games are different.
Skill-wise has to be today because they've been able to evaluate everybody who's already come before and practice their moves. So I think the skills today have that advantage. I think there's incredible players at every level, though. I'm thinking about Wilt right away. As soon as you said Wilt, I don't know that anybody has an answer for Wilt. I don't think so.
They just listed him the 6th greatest player. They have that top 77, and I looked at the top 10 before I came out. It was real quick. It was Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic, Russell, Chamberlain. 7th was Larry Bird, an all-time fav of mine. 8 was Kobe, 9 was Shaq, and 10 was Tim Duncan. So, of course, Giannis isn't done with his career. Embiid, I don't think made the list. Joker's on his way up the list, etc. But,
he's going to be top 3 soon.
Yep. For a guy who can't jump over a puddle, he can play.
Because here's the thing, right? When we talk about top players, we got to evaluate what it means to be a player. And he is an absolute perfect example of basketball player.
So somebody like Giannis, what kind of shape is a guy like Giannis in? What kind of shape do you need to be in to be an effective player? Let's talk about my friends who want to play in a CYO league and just run up and down the court and shoot 3-pointers can call themselves Steph Curry. Some ex-Division I, Division II players that, want to go break a sweat and don't want to play with those guys because they know they could get hurt because they could trip over them or something like that. And the Magic Johnsons of the world who still want to play a little bit.
I think that you have to have cardiovascular fitness. So let's just say we're having this conversation for real, and it's not. I mean, we are, but let's say it's not on a podcast, and you're just like, "What do I need to do to get started, Dave?" People call me all the time and ask me, and I'm like, "Listen, set a cardiovascular fitness base for 3 months. Get the heart and lungs primed." So I say like this: when the sun comes up, do your cardio. When the sun goes down, do your cardio. If you give me 3 months like that, the body is primed for what I need you to do. And a lot of times, I'd say 80% of the time, people will do. And they'll say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. And what ends up happening is people will come back ready. I need them ready because when the cardiovascular fitness is at a high level, as you know, the body is going to be able to breathe longer during extensive, intense bouts of exercise. I do a lot of time under tension, movement-based basketball strength stuff. So if you don't have the cardio, you can't do the work. Cardio first. Once that cardio is there, flexibility follows through the basketball strength applications. Take the swamp lunge, for example. One exercise, it's an entire system in itself because one movement has 6 phases and 24 courses inside of it. So it's almost like one move builds to the next move, builds to the next move, so on and so forth. And that's how the system is designed. So when you have that, pardon me, anybody can look at it and automatically connect it and see how it works because every step builds to the next. That's kind of the cool thing about it. And that's what makes it easy for everyone to use.
Give me your favorite cardio exercise, your favorite strength exercise, and your favorite basketball skill move.
Cardio exercise, Nordic track ski machine, the original. Basketball strength move is going to be the one dribble, hop, step, jump, stop, tomahawk slam. And what was your second question, Dr. Rob?
Number one strength exercise to prime to play basketball.
Number one strength exercise to prime to play basketball is the swamp lunge from Basketball Strength Volume 1. It's an entire system. So it's a traveling diagonal lunge that has to be performed exactly as it's designed in Volume 1. And what's so special about it is, just to be quick, in basketball, if you were guarding me and I took the ball looking for a pass, there's nothing there. I decide to dribble it, tween dribble from my right through my legs to my left hand. I'm going to transverse at the waist, flex down a little bit, and I'm creating a body angle. I'm also in a split lunge at this point because my legs are flexed at 90 degrees. Once I decide to go around you, your right side, my left, I'm going to step forward with that left leg. What I've created is a diagonal lunge. If a running back is running through a hole and he has to cut left or cut right because a linebacker is in the hole, he has to change direction, he's in the swamp lunge. When a tennis player goes to hit a backhand, they're in the swamp lunge. It's a constantly repeating motion in human movement. And I looked at it in sport and I realized that, wait a minute, that's it. We need to work that exact movement, but progressively so that people could use acute joint angles, keep their body nice and tight, close together, compact, build confidence, and then slowly but surely inch their way out into flexibility. So it's like a way of stretching and strengthening the body so that biofeedback and demonstration of the skill becomes not only the proof, but also the measure in terms of quality and effectiveness. So the swamp lunge is number one.
Wow. The game has changed. I got a few years on you. The game has changed. Now you've mentioned your books. Tell everybody where they can access your books, procure them if they're interested, and
Yeah,
also tell them how they can contact you.
please do. Thank you. IG, Coach Lemanczyk. Links are in my bio. Ladies and gentlemen, all you have to do is reach out. I'll help you if I can. And I know I can. The program is going to help you in more ways than I can explain. Once you have it in front of you, you're going to say, yep, that's it. Thank you in advance.
Well, I expect my signed copy real soon because we want to get back into shape because at my 50th high school, I'm just kidding. We just went to a high school reunion and we all wanted to play basketball. We played horse. You know, we
Yes.
brought, we played
What was your
horse.
opener?
One-handed
This is your
jump
opener.
shot from the top of the key. The George McGinnis one. Before your time. All
George.
NBA first team 1975, giving away my age a little bit there. So in any case, anybody interested, Swamp It, great information. Watch his IG, you'll be inspired. I look at it every day when he dunks. I'm like, yes, he rattles the rim. It rattles my world. I look forward to seeing you again. We have to do this. Coach Dave Lemanczyk. I'm Dr. Rob Silverman, Proven Health Alternatives. Always yours in health.